Hi everybody. In this video lecture, we will learn about the male reproductive system. So as I told you before in the video of the female reproductive system, the main function of this system is to perpetuate the human species. Let's go through the main organs that compose the male reproductive system. So we have the testes here, located inside the scrotum, the epididymis, ductus deferens is this tube that you see here that goes here till you see the accessory glands. There are a couple of them. There is seminal gland, the seminal vesicle, prostate, the bulbourethral gland. They compose the accessory glands that they will secrete substances that will form semen. The penis and the scrotum are the external organs of the male reproductive system. In this sagittal view, we can see the structures, okay, that I mentioned before. The scrotum containing the testes, here inside of it, epididymis, ductus deferens, prostate, located here, vesicles, and the external organs here. The testes are the male gonads. So the gonads are located inside the scrotum. Okay, they are connected with the abdominal cavity by the spermatic cord. So if we make an analogy with the female reproductive system, this would be similar to the suspensory ligament of the ovary in the female. So because the spermatic cord also passes inside the inguinal canal. Okay. The main function of the testes is the production of sperm and hormones, okay, including testosterone and also LH, the luteinizing hormone. And the main layers are the tunica vaginalis, is the external layer, and tunica albuginea is the internal layer. So this is here, tunica vaginalis, external, okay, and tunica albuginea that you see here is internal to in the testes. Ooh, sorry about that. Back. Here we can also see this structure, which is the spermatic cord. Okay, this structure sustains the testes, okay, and connects with the abdominal cavity. We're gonna see the further details about this structure in the end of this video. But as you see here, there are a couple of structures that are that run inside the spermatic cord, including vessels, okay, nerves, and next we have the internal structure. Okay, so the testes are divided into small lobules. So if you see here, so this is a lobule, this is another lobule, okay? So there are many different lobules. And inside these lobules, we can see seminiferous tubules, okay, lined with epithelial cells. So the seminiferous tubules are those tubules here. So inside each lobule, we can have like from 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules per lobule, okay? And then those lobules, they connect with the red testes, which are those tubules that are like straight tubules that they join like with all the several lobules, okay? And then the red testes, they converge in ductile efferentes, which are those connections here with the epididymis. This is the epididymis. Okay. The main cells that constitute the testes. So, as I mentioned before, we have epithelial cells, and we have cells that produce the gametes. Okay, so within the seminiferous tubules, okay, so I will go back here to show you. So this is a seminiferous tubule, okay, this little tubule here inside. So in this picture here, this is a section of this tubule, okay, here. So this is the histology of the testes. So then you see, in a seminiferous tubule, we have Sertoli cells, those cells here. Sertoli cells are the true seminiferous epithelium. So the epithelial cells are called Sertoli cells, okay? So they will give like the structure of the tubule. Then we have spermatogonia. Okay, the spermatogonia are the germ cells. Okay, so this here in dark purple are spermatogonia. So those cells here, they will produce the spermatozoon. Okay, so this cell here, the spermatozoon, which are the germ cells. So the spermatozoon has a head and a tail. Okay, so in the head we have the acrosome. So here is like in the nucleus. So here is where there is like a pact of chromosomes located here. Okay, and this area here, the tail, is the area that basically gives the motility to the germ cells, to the spermatozoon. Okay, so this acts like a flagellum that moves like it's different. It's a different move from the cilium, the cilia that we saw in other structures. Okay, because this has like the movement can be like in many different directions, and there is no specific pattern for the movement of this kind of cells. And then between the seminiferous tubules, so this is one seminiferous tubule, and this here cut here at the top is another seminiferous tubule. And between these tubules, we have Leydig cells. So these Leydig cells, they are interstitial cells, mainly responsible for the production of hormones, okay, testosterone mainly. And then we have the epididymis. The epididymis is this dilated area that is a narrow and tightly coiled tube that connects a testicle to a vas deferens. It lies along the posterior border. So this is the posterior border of the testis. This is divided into head, body, and tail. Okay, and the function is to store sperm, and also it is responsible for the maturation of the sperm cells. Okay, so inside the epididymis we have like so many coil tubes here. Okay, so this runs. So actually, this is a unique tubule that runs like in this coiled manner here inside the epididymis. The ductus deferens is also known as vas deferens. So there are a pair of muscular tubes, okay, and they are protected by a thick fibrous coating. So they start here at the tail of the epididymis, and the end of the tail of the epididymis, okay, and run they pass through the inguinal canal, okay, they reach the pelvic cavity, okay, so because this here, the scrotum, is external, okay, to the pelvic cavity. So they enter the pelvic cavity, okay, through the inguinal canal. Remember, they pass through inside they pass inside the spermatic cord, okay, and they will run until here they reach the approximately the bladder. So they run here laterally in both sides of the urinary bladder. Okay, so this is laterally, and then they go posteriorly here to the bladder. The main functions of the ductus deferens is that they contribute to sperm storage. They can also transport sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct. So sperm is produced in the testes, and then it is matured, mainly matured in the epididymis, but it can also be stored and matured in the vas deferens as well. So it takes approximately 14 days for a sperm cell to get maturation. Okay, and the lifespan of a sperm cell is approximately 60 days. So after that, if it is not ejaculated, it will eventually die and be absorbed by the organism. Then we have this other structure here that are the ejaculatory duct. Okay, so in this sagittal view, we see the vas deferens. It passes laterally to the urinary bladder and posteriorly to the urinary bladder. And then before connecting to the prostate, this is the prostate. Before connecting to the prostate, there is a connection between the seminal vesicle and the prostate. Okay, so this is the ejaculatory duct. It's a very short passageway, okay, formed by the union of the ductus deferens and the seminal vesicles. It will pass through the prostate and join the urethra. Okay, so this is the ejaculatory duct passing inside the prostate. The function of the ducts is the expulsion of semen into the urethra. Okay, so semen is mainly produced here by the seminal vesicle. The prostate also contributes for the production of semen, and then this semen will be expelled here through to the urethra. Okay. The seminal vesicles are also known as seminal glands. Those glands are located posteriorly to the urinary bladder. Okay, they do have a pair of those glands. They are tubular glands located inferiorly to the urinary bladder. And the main function is secretion of seminal fluid, which composes most of the semen volume. So this accounts for approximately 60% of the total volume of semen. The prostate is this gland, okay? It has the size of a walnut. It's an exocrine gland located inferiorly to the bladder. It surrounds the upper portion of the urethra, okay, and also surrounds the ejaculatory duct. And the main function is the production of prostatic fluid, which makes up part of the seminal contents. So this prostatic fluid is that fluid that gives like a milky appearance for the semen. So that white color of semen is basically because of prostatic fluid. Then the bulbourethral glands. So the bulbourethral glands are those pair of glands here. They are also called Cowper's glands. They are very small. They have the size of small peas, and they are located inferiorly to the prostate on either side of the urethra. So remember, this is the urethra. Okay, so in the male urinary system, there is intramural urethra next to the urinary bladder, prostatic urethra that crosses the prostate, intramembranous urethra, okay, that passes here through the external urethral sphincter. So this is skeletal muscle, okay, that you see here outside. And then the penile or spongy urethra, okay. The function of the bulbourethral glands is the secretion of a clear fluid which composes a small part of the semen and lubricate the penile urethra. So this fluid produced by these glands, it basically neutralizes the pH of here in the urethra, because in the male urethra serves both for urination and also for ejaculation. So when urine passes here, urine has an acid pH, and the semen has more like an alkaline pH. So these glands contribute for the neutralization of the pH here. In this box, this table here, we can see the semen glands contribution. Okay, so we have those glands here that are responsible for making up semen. Okay, so the testes, the seminal vesicles, the prostate, and the bulbourethral glands, and those are the approximate fraction of each gland for the total semen contribution. So the seminal vesicles are the most important and the most that most contribute for semen production. The penis is the external sexual organ. So this is a tubular organ that is mainly composed by erectile tissue. There is basically there are two corpora cavernosa, okay, so in plural. In singular, this is corpus cavernosum, but as there are two, so the plural nomenclature is corpora cavernosa. Is located in the dorsal side of the penis, separated by a thin septum here in between, and encircled by a dense collagenous sheath, okay, in both sides. And the corpus spongiosum is only one, okay? So spongiosum is here that you see, spongy body or corpus spongiosum is located in the ventral side of the penis and surrounds the urethra. So this is the spongy urethra. It contains a sheath with more elastic fiber than does that of the corpora cavernosa. So this helps to prevent the urethra from collapse. Okay, so this is another erectile tissue in the penis. So basically there are three, okay? So a pair of corpus cavernosum and a single corpus spongiosum. And it's worth it to mention that this corpus spongiosum will run ventrally in the penis, okay? And will make up also the glands of the penis. So the glands of the penis is like a dilation of the corpus spongiosum, okay? The glands. This area here, corona, is the area the penis is a tubular organ with the shape of a mushroom. So corona is this dilated area in the glands of the penis. Okay, and inside here, these erectile tissues, they are highly vascularized. So there are many vessels that contribute for the erection. When the vessels are dilated, so the penis gets erected. The scrotum is this pouch, this bag here that consists of skin, basically. Okay, so this is a thin layer of loose skin, superficial fascia, and also smooth muscles. The main function is to house the testes, and they also helps in the regulation of the temperature. Okay, because the optimal temperature for sperm production and storage and maturation is like 2 degrees below the normal body temperature. So that's why they are housed externally to in the pelvic cavity. The main muscles that constitute the scrotum are cremaster, that you can see here, is striated and smooth muscle. Okay, and the dartos is this smooth subcutaneous muscle. Okay, so the dartos, by the way, is another example of subcutaneous muscle. Remember that I demonstrated the platysma, which is this muscle here in the neck, is a subcutaneous or superficial muscle. So the dartos is another example of subcutaneous muscle. Okay, here in the scrotum. So these muscles, they can contract. Okay, when they contract, they elevate the testes to next to the pelvic cavity. Okay, so they can, when the environment is too cold, for example, they contract, and then they will regulate the temperature here inside the scrotum. And the spermatic cord is this supporting structure that ascends out of the scrotum. So this is the scrotum, and then we have the spermatic cord. Inside of it, there is the ductus deferens that passes here, the testicular artery and veins, autonomic nerves, lymphatic vessels, and also the cremaster muscle. It runs here inside, as you see here, this layer in the spermatic cord. And finally, this is another, a different picture of the spermatic cord, highlighting the structures present here in the spermatic cord are highlighted in green. Okay, the muscle, ductus deferens, the lymphatic vessels. Okay, so those are the basic structures in the anterior view of the spermatic cord in the male reproductive system. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.